and welcome to In the Kitchen with Natasha. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for Sada roti. Your ingredients that you'll need to make this recipe are 3 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of yeast, and about 1.5 cups of water. So what you're going to do is add your baking powder and your yeast to your 3 cups of flour and just mix it so that you get everything incorporated throughout. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and add, you can go ahead and put on your attachment, lock it into place, and we're going to add some water, just about 1/4 of the water, and put it on, and we're going to let the water and the flour combine. So you add enough water to make a nice firm dough, not hard but nice and between soft and medium, because you don't want it too soft and you don't want it too hard. So just keep adding your water until everything has come together and you form a ball, and let that continue to knead so that the gluten forms and the flour is nice and elastic, so that you will get the best roti possible. So as you can see, my flour is starting to form that ball of dough. I still have some water. You don't want to put all at once, you want to just put a little at a time, a little at a time. Okay, so that's enough water. I actually have 1/2 cup left over, which I'm not going to use. I just used 1 cup for that 3 cups of flour. What you're going to do is just allow this to keep kneading until it's nice and elastic, as I said, and we will set it aside to proof, because remember we put that yeast in there. So my dough is finished. What you want to do is take it out of this. I like to form it into a ball. Now remember, the more you knead your flour and let that that gluten turn elastic, the better your roti is going to come out. So you form it into a ball and just put it into a bowl, cover, and set aside for about 15 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you how to make the roti. So my dough for my Sada roti has rested. What I want to do next is make it into smaller balls. So you're going to take your flour and you're going to break it into smaller balls, form it into balls. We actually call this a loy in Trinidad. After you've made them, you want to set them aside just to relax for about 5 minutes, because when you form them into the ball, if you try to roll them out right away, it will pull back on you. So you want to let that flour relax, and for just about 5 minutes. While the dough is relaxing, you want to put up your tower or your griddle, whatever you're going to use to cook your roti on. You want to put it up on medium-high heat. So I've put mine on 6.5, and you're going to allow your tower to come up to temperature, because you want a nice warm tower when you make your roti. Okay, so my tower has come up to temperature. I also have a bowl that I lined with a kitchen towel that I'm going to put my roti in when they finish cook, and I have a scissors because I like to use a scissors to cut my roti. So let's get started on making our Sada roti. So you need your rolling pin to make your Sada roti. So just take one dough out. Also what you'll need, you're going to need some dry flour to help you roll out the dough. So you open out your dough. I don't like to use a lot of dry flour because when the roti is finished, I don't like to feel that dry flour when I'm eating my roti. So basically you just roll this out into a thin circle. You can roll it out to whatever thickness you like. I like my roti very thin, so I actually roll mine out pretty thin. So keep rolling. If you want more dry flour, you can add it if it's sticking. I try my best not to add any additional dry flour. So you have a nice clean roti when you're done. Alright, so once you've rolled it out to the thickness you like, you take it and you put it onto your warm griddle or tower, as we call it in Trinidad, and wait for it to get a little bit of bubbles before you turn it. As you can see, there are the bubbles. You turn it. See, it has a nice slightly light brown color. While this is cooking on this side, you can go ahead and roll out the other dough. You want to leave it long enough so that it cooks on the other side. It just takes like a minute or two, less than 2 minutes. What you want to do now is you're going to flip the roti over and you're going to pull the tower off a little. Let me just adjust my camera. So you pull your tower off a little and you put your roti over that direct heat from the stove, and it's going to cook the roti for you, and it's going to puff it up. So you get a nice brown roti. So next thing you want to do is you're going to cut it once it's done. And cut it up and put it into your bowl. Repeat the process. Turn your roti. Let it cook for about a minute on that side. So turn your roti over once it has cooked on the other side. Put it over the heat so that that direct heat from the stove cooks the roti, see, and it puffs it up. and your roti swells really nice. Be careful because sometimes it will burst on you. You don't want that steam from that to hit you. Take off your stove. Cut it just to release that air. And cut your roti into quarters. It's very hot, so be very careful. So here we have it, Sada roti. It's a very simple, quick, easy recipe. Remember, as I said, when you're making Sada roti, you want to make sure and knead that flour as long as you can so that gluten could form and it's nice and elastic and it gives you a better roti. You follow my steps and I promise you, you will make good Sada roti. So thank you again for spending this day with me. You can enjoy your Sada roti with any sorted vegetable or meat side dish that you like. Thank you, and I will see you again another day with another one of my recipes. Enjoy!